So let's try number 2 now. So Anakin, what did you get for number 2?
16 squared.
B to the what power?
Oh, no.
7th power. Does that make sense to everybody? So again, you're multiplying the numbers out in front. 4 times 4. And then adding the exponents. 16b to the 7th. Number 3's got a bunch of negatives. Brandon is not here today. Caitlin, what did you get for number 3?
I got 8x to the 6th.
8x to the 6th?
Yeah.
Okay, it's real close. Everybody real fast here. Are we good? Oh, go ahead.
8 over x to the 6th.
So the final answer is going to be 8 over x to the 6th. And the reason we know that is right here. 4 times 2 gives us the 8. Negative 3 plus negative 3 is going to be negative 6. And any negative exponent we want to put on the bottom of our fraction. So 8 over x to the 6th is the correct answer. Number 4, we've got 3 terms. I think you were able to hopefully figure out what to do there. Carson, what did you get for number 4? So you got 18 n to the what? The 7th power is perfect. 18 n to the 7th. So we're doing 2 times 3 times 3 gets us 18. And then 3 n's, 2 n's, and 2 more n's makes n to the 7th. Now the next one, we didn't talk a lot about these. So let's see if we can work it through. Does anyone have a guess about what to do with this one? Or even part of it? Multiply the exponents. So what does that look like? You're right. All right, so the n is going to be negative 1 times negative 4, which makes it n to the 4th power. But what about the 2? Am I going to multiply the 2 times negative 4? The 2 isn't an exponent, right? Okay, everybody's full attention right now. Put phones away, you guys. Don't distract yourself. Right here. This part, I think most of you are going to be fine with. This is what trips people up. What do we do with that 2? 2. Can everybody agree that that 2 is to the 1st power? If you need a number to have an exponent, you can always put a 1 on it. So here I can do 1 times negative 4, which would be 2 to the negative 4th power. And that means when I finally write this, I'm going to put the 2 to the 4th power on the bottom. So again, if there is a number, its exponent is 1, and that 1 gets multiplied by the exponent outside. So let's try number 6 real fast. Kenji, did number 5 make sense to you, Kenji? Yeah.
No.
Okay. So I know that Mr. G was helping you there for a moment, so I want to make sure that this makes sense to you as well. The variable is pretty straightforward. N to the negative 1 raised to the negative 4th. We just multiply those exponents. Did that make sense?
Yeah.
So what would you do over here with the x squared to the negative 4th?
We just multiply 2 to 4.
Huh?
The negative 4.
So what does that end up being?
6. Negative 6.
Try again. Multiply the 4 and the 2.
Oh, 8.
There you go. Negative 8 is perfect, Kenji. So the x to the negative 8th is good. But how do we do the rest of it? Let's get somebody new here. Haley, what would we do with the numbers? Yes, 3 raised to the negative 4th power. Does that make sense to everybody? The 3 didn't have an exponent, so we put a 1 there. We multiplied it. 3 to the negative 4th, x to the negative 8th. What do I do with those negatives? I don't want to leave them on there. How do I rewrite this? Lena's not here. Ayana's not here. Joelle, what do we do with negative exponents? Does that make sense to everybody? That's perfect, Joelle. So we're going to put this 1 over 3 to the 4th x to the 8th. That's exactly right. And again, once you do that, they're not negative anymore. Yeah. So everybody, real quick, this class was doing okay. There were a few problems. One of my other classes, I was starting to have major issues. So you guys have to sign out now when you go to the bathroom. Take a pass, sign out, put the time. There's a pen there. You can always sign out there. But again, I'm going to start keeping track. And if you're missing like an hour of class every week, I'm going to have you come in and get that caught up, because you can't succeed if you're missing like a quarter of our class every week. Again, this class wasn't too bad. It was one of the other ones. Take a pass. Take a pass. In case somebody sees you. Again, the passes are mostly so you guys don't get sent to the SRC for one. There we go. Thank you. So you don't get sent to the SRC while you're walking around. So here we go. Number 7. 2x squared to the 4th. Was?
I said SRC would be out there.
They're going to be out there?
Yeah, they're out there.
Yeah, they watch, and that's why we got the passes, to try to let them know, no, I let you guys go, it was fine. I definitely don't mind you guys going to the bathroom if you need to go to the bathroom. It's fine. It's, again, there's one class in particular where I've got several students that are out for literally like 45 minutes every week, and that's not going to work. They're going to have to come in and make it up. This, again, you guys, not nearly that bad, but I still, since I'm doing it for one class, I might as well do it for all the classes and keep track of who's out when. So, for this one now, number 7. Isaiah, what would you do with this one? Uh-huh. And then go ahead and do the x's too. Perfect. So we get that 2 times 4. Here they get multiplied together. It's really that the same thing's happening for the 2. It's just a 1 up there, and 1 times 4 is 4. So our final answer, 2 to the 4th, x to the 8th. There we go. Number 8. Alondra, can you tell us what you would get or how you would solve number 8?
Multiply by 2, and it'll get you 8 4.
Okay.
And multiply by 1 to the 2, and it'll get you 4 2.
Okay, so 4 to the second part, but what did you say the A was?
The 4th part.
Yes, I thought I heard something else. There we go. 4 squared, A to the 4th is exactly right. Now we've got some division thrown in here. I know some of you have already worked through these. I'm going to give you... How many of you could use 5 minutes to work on a couple more problems? Would you use it? Or do you want to keep doing this and me kind of quizzing you guys? I know some of you are already done with this front page. Okay, take 5 minutes. Do a couple more problems. Try the work on your own with the division. If you get stuck, though, let me know. So fraction 1 you subtract. So there's 1 x up here, right? So you do 1 minus 2. What's 1 minus 2? Yeah, but it would be negative, right? Because you subtract the bigger number. Go ahead and write x to the negative 1. That 4 is the only number right here. There's no other numbers to divide with it. Go ahead and put a fraction, put the 4 on the bottom still. It actually doesn't move because there's nothing to divide it with. If there was like an 8 up here, we'd do 8 divided by 4. It wasn't. Just the 4 stayed down there. Is that y the only y? So then go ahead and write it still at the top. Y to the 4th. It doesn't change. So it was on the top to begin with. It's still going to be on the top. There's nothing changed for y. So now the only issue is that negative. We don't like to leave negatives in our answer. So instead, rewrite it the same way. 4 on the top, or 4 on the bottom, y to the 4th on the top. So let's put that x to the first power on the bottom so that it can be positive. So fraction 1, y to the 4th on the top. That one didn't move. 4 on the bottom. But then the x to the first power on the bottom also. And it's now positive because it moved from the top down to the bottom. That is your answer. Does that make sense? Yeah. So like here, you're going to do the same thing with the variables, but the numbers, you can do 4 divided by 2 this time and get an answer there. So, those of you that need to go for cards, real quick, I want you guys finish up through at least, let's do this. Finish up through maybe number 14 if you can. Get as much of it done, and we'll go over it tomorrow. But yeah, you guys can head out. I'll tell Christian as well. He can when he's back. The rest of you guys, we've only got like 7 minutes left. So work through number 14. We'll go over those tomorrow, and we'll finish this up tomorrow. So the first thing to do is to look at the numbers. You've got a 2 over 4. If that was just a fraction, 2 over 4, how would you write that? How would you simplify 2 over 4? You can divide it, and then what do you call on the top of the bottom? Yeah, because the 4 is on the bottom right now. So go ahead and make a fraction bar. Put the 2 on the bottom. You can, yeah, you can, are you thinking like doing that minus that? Yeah, so it would be like -1 plus 4. And it should work out either way. So in the x's though, we have x on the top, -3 on the bottom. What's 1 minus -3? So we're subtracting the top exponent from the bottom, or we're doing the top exponent minus the bottom exponent. So literally you're going to have 1 minus -3. What's 1 minus -3? Why? That's just 1. It's 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so you're going to put x
Oh,
equals
because you're
4.
adding on to a negative.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. So Christian, you can head out if you want to for chart. We're working up through number 14. So do as much of that as you can. And you can use your phone or anything to check the time. If that's correct. Yeah, you can. We can go over some of those also. You feeling pretty good about this, Joel?
Not so bad.
Not the back part. Okay, we'll do the division or all the negatives. That's,
The one positive.
so we'll talk about this. Yeah, but are you like the one where they've got parentheses and lots of stuff? Yeah, we'll go over those. It's the same rules. It all works the same way. They're just throwing lots of it all at once, mixed together. Okay, before you put it away, let's do a couple more together since, again, we've got a few minutes left and I'm not seeing tons of work going. We might as well talk about them. So number 9. Actually, I'm going to let you do numbers 9 and 10. I think most of you have got those. Look at number 11. Look at number 11. Start with the numbers out in front. 2 over 4. Anakin, how would you reduce 2 over 4? Yep, and what does that end up being? And does that 2 go on the top or the bottom? Right. So again, 2 over 4 is 1 over 2. You can put the 1 on top if you want to. Don't need it yet. Not here today. Jada, this gets a little interesting, right? We've got x to the first power and x to the negative third power. Okay. Go ahead and grab them, then you're welcome to head the card. We're working on up through number 14. All right, Caden? So you don't need to finish the whole thing for homework, but try to finish up through 14 as much as you can. So, Jada, if I wrote it like this, x to the first power minus negative 3, what would that end up being, Jada? real close. That would be if I was just subtracting. But are you good with two negatives becoming a positive, Jada? X to the fourth power. So this is actually going to be x to the fourth power over 2. And let's do the same thing with the y's. We've got y to the negative fourth minus 3. This is probably the hardest thing that's coming up with this, is all the negatives. We've got lots of negatives. So y to the negative fourth minus 3. What's negative 4 minus 3? Negative 7. So if I wrote that as y to the negative 7th, I actually need to put it down on the bottom, y to the positive 7th. Now, how many of you would like a way of doing that with fewer negatives? No, we don't really care. It's fine. So, I can show you a way of doing this with fewer negatives. The way you would do that is at the very beginning, any negative, move it to the other side of the fraction. 2x over that y to the negative fourth, put it on the bottom. There was already a y to the third down there. The x to the negative third, put it up on the top. That way it's easier to see, oh, x times x to the third is x to the fourth, and y to the third times y to the fourth is y to the seventh. I'll show you more of those tomorrow. We've got about 1 minute left. Again, try to finish up through number 14 before tomorrow. But you guys are welcome to start packing up at this point because we've only got about a minute left.